So here's the full video of my 150-meter rappel down into the center of the earth while I was adventuring in the Pandora forest in Colombia.
¿Ahora este? ¿O este?
No.
Este.
So I wasn't really scared of heights at all. When I heard about the 150-meter rappel, I didn't really have any nerves going into it. But once I got all suited up and I started leaning over the edge, that's when it really started to get to me.
A ver, voy acelerando.
So there's a bit of communication going around here, and even though I fully trusted the guide, I'd seen him just rappel a bunch of other people down into this massive hole, there was a little bit of a language barrier, and I wasn't quite getting all the details. Even though I've spent lots of time in climbing harnesses and stuff like that before, this was a completely different setup, so I didn't fully grasp what was going on here, so that got me a bit nervous. And it also started to rain right as my turn was starting here. So there's a point here where the guide mentions to me that everything is super slippery and the rope is covered in mud. And not only that, but the carabiner and like the little device that's basically being used to rappel me down slowly was just caked in mud. And he kind of just looked at me and chuckled and said, yeah, the rope's really slippery. So I didn't really know how this whole system was working, like whether or not he had to like physically lower me down or what kind of mechanical advantage he has, and if grip was going to be a part of it. So that kind of got my nerves going right off the bat. So this is the first like 20 meters. We're not even starting the rappel yet, so this is just kind of walking backwards, and I'm not even actually hooked in to the actual rappel line yet. I'm just on a secondary line, I think the safety line. And right about here is where right where I can see the view. And that will make your heart drop when you look over the edge like that. But right here is where he's hooking me up to the main rappel line, and where I'm about to start my descent. So here I was just trying to look for anything that seemed out of the ordinary. I mean, I was the last rappel of the day, so it was definitely going through my mind, like, hopefully this guy isn't tired, hopefully he's doing everything right and nothing slips. So I was just looking for anything like that looks like it was supposed to be screwed in or clipped together that wasn't, but really I didn't have much clue what was going on.
Aquí. Eso, muy bien.
Vale.
Y va a ir dando cuerdas.
So,
Yo tengo que ir como así.
so right here he just explained to me that I was holding the safety line behind me, and the quicker I let that out, the quicker I'll go down. But in the end, he's still in control of how fast I go down. So it's kind of like a joint effort between the both of us, where we're both in control of the speed, and we can both limit it. So right here, I'm just putting my weight over the edge for the first time, and there's a little metal bar here that I'm standing on, and I don't know, maybe that's a bit farther down. But yeah, looking over the edge here is an insane feeling. Like, I can't think of another time where I've looked down and not being able to see the bottom. And it really just makes your heart sink, but gives you a ton of adrenaline at the same time, and it's an amazing feeling. So right here, he's just guiding me down step by step, and I'm just taking it easy here, trying to get the hang of lowering myself down properly and how my hands feel on the rope. Now, the colors and the scenery of this area were just insane. Like, it was so violently bright green, it just seemed like a movie. Like, it's like you're watching some super saturated bright screen. One of the most insane places.
¿Listo? ¿Vaya bajando?
¿Listo?
Sí, vamos.
Vale.
So, just confirming here that everything was all good, and time to start the actual rappel.
Increíble.
And the first thing once you get over the edge and you're actually like hanging is you got to take some photos. So I took some photos here, but just having the nerve to let go of that rope and put your arms out to take the photos was incredibly difficult. I wouldn't think it would be, because like in my mind I know I'm fully strapped in and all my weight is in the harness, but just pulling your hands off the rope is something really difficult to do in the moment. And here he's just taking some more photos of me and a quick little video.
Uno, dos, tres.
Listo. Gracias, Pachamama.
And right there, just thank you, Mother Nature. My life's in your hands. So the first 40 meters or so, you're just walking down this wall. Just like how I've done before, like rappelling down from a rock wall. You kind of just walk down the wall the whole way. But in a little bit, you'll see, you get a little bit farther, and I'm basically just free falling, like full SEAL Team 6 rappel mode out of a helicopter. It's a pretty cool feeling. And just letting go of the rope here again to take some more pictures. I think there's about 4 or 5 different stops for photos throughout this whole trip. So my only regret from this experience is not like fully taking it in, and it's not for a lack of trying. I really think I did, like in my mind I was like, wow, I need to like take this in. But I think just from like the excitement and the adrenaline, it's almost like my memory is kind of foggy from it. Yeah, I think you probably have to do this a couple times to fully take everything in and just grasp like the scenery and the colors. And I am glad I got this video so I can relive it a few times here, but it's definitely doesn't have the same effect as when you're in person. But as you can see now, just stepped off the ledge and I'm basically fully in free fall now. So I just have my hand on the rope and I'm slowly letting back the safety and he's letting me down. So there you heard the radio go off. So there's a woman at the bottom and also a rappel man at the top. So they're communicating with each other and with me, and they're telling, yeah, stop here, we're gonna take some photos, tighten up this safety line, go a little bit quicker, go a little bit slower, all that kind of stuff. But every time the radio went on, my heart stopped. And you know, it's hard enough to hear on a radio as it is, but it being my second language, it's definitely a little bit more difficult. So every time that radio went off, I was listening so intently to try and hear what they were saying, make sure there's no major issues or I'm not doing anything wrong. And yeah, just really focusing on that. So you can see here the knot right in front of me. It's kind of like loose in some areas, and I had full confidence in the knot. Like I've seen him tied a bunch of times on different people, and it held up for all of them, obviously. So I didn't really have any concerns there, but definitely looking at it and seeing it like slightly slack in some areas just makes me a bit nervous. And yeah, that's definitely something I was keeping an eye on. And this was just a really, really insane experience, just fully surrendering to nature, I guess, and to the whole experience. And it was amazing. So yeah, you can hear the rain starting up again now. That definitely added to the experience. It was another really cool effect of the whole thing. The only problem was I had a big chunk of mud. Maybe we'll hear it or see it. I can't remember if I had the camera on at the time, but it landed right on my face. Just glad it wasn't a rock. So a few deep breaths here. That adrenaline is definitely still in full effect, but it feels good. Just staring straight up like this was such an incredible view. It doesn't even look real in the video, and it didn't feel real at the time. It was really an incredible experience. So I think in the background here pretty soon you'll be able to hear the guacharos. They're called oil birds in English, and yeah, it really sounds like you're descending into the depths of hell or something when you enter down here. But the birds are harmless and they only eat fruit apparently. And we did see a few of them flying around, which is really cool. They have quite a big wingspan actually, and they really almost look like a golden eagle kind of colors. So really nice looking bird. So when I look down like that, it's already been 15 minutes of rappelling almost, and you look down, you think you'd be able to see the ground, and no, still so far up. And you can slightly see that person walking around below me, a few other people with torches, headlamps down there, but still so high up. So at this point I was pretty over the photos. I felt super happy with the experience, and I was kind of ready to be back on the ground. And here we are, finally getting down to the ground.
Increíble. Increíble. Wow.
And yeah, super thankful to be back on the ground. And it was an amazing experience overall.
Uf.
¿Qué tal?
Bien. Me cayó un gigante cosa de bora en la cara.
Si
Un disparo.
es más para acá
¿Sí?
y pasa la puerta así.
Ok.
Pásala.
¿Otra vez? ¿Así?
Eche más para acá. Eso. ¿Qué tal la vista desde arriba?
Uf, increíble. Nunca vi algo como
I was
este.
just buzzing after this experience. It really was incredible. And yeah, we had 3 full days of experiences like this. Diving into caves, rappels,
Wow.
crawling through tiny crevices, hiking through some of the most amazing jungle you've ever seen. And yeah, there's a reason it's called Pandora, because it literally looks like something out of Avatar. So if you want to watch the entire video, make sure you check that out on the channel. There's an English and a Spanish version, so check those out. And make sure you tune in next time for another adventure.